This is TradeFlow News, bringing you relevant news and insights from around the world. TradeFlow News, enabling trade for SMEs and economies worldwide.
These are some of the key topics that we will be looking into in today's program.
First, let's take a look at the overnight headlines which are impacting the commodity markets.
Oil prices rose on Tuesday as markets weighed supply cuts for August by top exporters Saudi Arabia and Russia against the backdrop of an uncertain global economic outlook. Brent crude futures climbed 34 cents, or 0.46%, at $74.99 a barrel by 0618 GMT. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude were at $70.12 a barrel, up by 33 cents, or 0.47%. Fundamentals are not having as much influence on price direction as one would expect. Instead, the uncertain macro outlook is what the market is focused on, analysts said in a client note.
The decision by Saudi Arabia and Russia to extend their voluntary output cuts is more likely to be viewed as a bearish signal for prices, as it confirms that optimistic views on demand growth are faltering. Saudi Arabia, the world's biggest crude exporter, said on Monday it will extend its voluntary production cut of 1 million barrels per day, BPD, for July into August, and flagged that the reduction could continue for further months. Russia, the number 2 oil exporter, said shortly after the Saudi announcement that it would cut crude shipments by 500,000 barrels of oil per day for August.
Moving on to the top news in the energy sector.
U.S. crude oil and gasoline inventories were seen declining last week, while distillate stockpiles likely rose, a preliminary Reuters poll showed on Monday. 4 analysts polled by Reuters estimated on average that crude inventories fell by about 1.8 million barrels in the week to June 30th. Crude inventories fell by 9.6 million barrels to 453.7 million barrels in the week to June 23rd, compared with analysts' expectations in a Reuters poll for a 1.8 million barrel fall.
Saudi Arabia and Russia, the world's biggest oil exporters, deepened oil cuts on Monday, sending prices higher despite concerns over a global economic slowdown and possible further interest rate increases from the U.S. Federal Reserve. OPEC Plus has already been cutting supply to boost prices since November last year due to weaker Chinese demand and rising U.S. supply, but so far has failed to move them much from a range of $70 to $80 a barrel. Saudi Arabia said it would extend its voluntary oil output cut of 1 million barrels per day, BPD, for another month to include August, adding that the cut could be extended beyond that month. Next, we have the top news in metal markets. A move by China to restrict exports of some metals widely used in semiconductors, electric vehicles and high-tech industries has ramped up a trade war with the United States and could potentially cause more disruption to global supply chains. Companies are rushing to react to the abrupt news announced on Monday, with one U.S. semiconductor wafer manufacturer quickly saying it was applying for export permits to assure investors. A China-based germanium producer told Reuters inquiries from abroad and prices had surged overnight.
China's National Food and Strategic Reserves Administration has agreed with 3 local refiners and 1 trader to purchase about 5,000 metric tons of cobalt, Bloomberg News reported on Tuesday. The volume is higher than the original plan to buy 2,000 tons, after additional offers from suppliers prompted the state stockpiler to take more grades of the metal, it reported, citing people familiar with the matter. The National Food and Strategic Reserves Administration did not immediately respond to Reuters' request for comment on Tuesday.
We will now look at the top news in the agricultural sector.
The European Union is considering a proposal for the Russian Agricultural Bank to set up a subsidiary to reconnect to the global financial network as a SOC to Moscow, the Financial Times said on Monday. With the bank under sanctions, the move aims to safeguard the Black Sea grain deal that allows Ukraine to export food to global markets, the newspaper said. The European Commission had no comment, while the Kremlin, in response to a question about the report, said it had nothing to announce about the deal's implementation. That is all for today's news on commodity markets. Stay tuned to TradeFlow News as we continue to provide you with more updates. We also invite you to follow us on Twitter at TradeFlow News, which allows you to watch our program on your mobile device or desktop to receive information from there.